Hi everyone, welcome to another session of G Niger TV, the NewSscope, episode 67. My name is Olatunde and my co-host,
Jane Rogers. Welcome to G Niger TV, where
thank
we
you.
bring you the latest news happening around the world.
Brilliant, always on point. Right, without much ado, we have an interesting story which has to do about the Oluwatime being sentenced today. So, Jane, what can you tell us about this?
Okay, for some of us that have been following, the story of Timileyin, Oluwatimileyin Ajayi and Salome over the demise or the death of, or the killing rather, of Salome Adaidu. Now, he's been arrested and then the case had been in court. But today they had been sentenced to death by hanging. So let me go through it and give you the overview. And this is from Channel CV. Court sentences Oluwatimilayin Ajayi to death for killing Salome Adaidu. He had been charged with one count of culpable homicide contrary to Section 221 of the Penal Code of Northern Nigeria and punishable by death. The High Court in Lafia, Nasarawa State, has sentenced Oluwatimilayin Ajayi, the suspected killer of NYSC member Salome Adaidu, to death by hanging. Justice Simon Aboki, who handed down the judgment, found Ajayi guilty of the killing and dismembering Adaidu. He had been charged with one count of culpable homicide contrary to Section 222 of the Penal Code of the Northern Nigeria and punishable by death. So Salome was murdered when she visited the suspect at his house in Papalana axis of New Karshi in Karu local government of the state. So that's basically the overview. Salome was serving at Nikon Insurance in Abuja, and then she went to visit her alleged boyfriend, according to the news,
Okay.
according to the story. Yes. And that was how she met her death. And of course, at some point he was arrested and the case had been in court. But today we are glad that there has been judgment over the case and he's been sentenced to death by hanging. So I just want to use this opportunity to commend the Nigerian judiciary for, you know, bringing justice on this case. And I just wish that it doesn't even go to appeal. You understand? Because that's what we
Mm.
see
hmm
literally happening around the Nigerian judicial system or Nigerian court system.
Okay. So, I mean, has this been going on for some time or it's just recently just started?
I think this happened sometimes in February, that between February or March. No, it happened in January actually, yes. I think January 22 or thereabout. That was when the whole thing happened. He was arrested. But I think it was a bike guy who took him that noticed
Okay.
that noticed something was strange. So the bike man could not raise alarm until he went to a well populated area. That was where he parked and called the attention of the people around and they gathered, because I think whilst they were going, the what do you call it, the blood was dropping. And
Wow.
of course, yes, the blood of the lady. He dismembered her body, but they had to go and visit his house to see he had different set of knives positioned in his house, you know.
What was this
And
guy's job at that point in time? He had a job, isn't it?
and yes, in fact, because I monitored the story, even going to his page and all of that. From what we gathered, he was working in what do you call it? He was working in like a garden around Abuja, and then Funny enough, he was a gospel musician,
Eh?
but at some point, yes. But
No, no, no,
as
no,
for
no, no,
some point,
no. Hang
yes,
on, hang on. You're telling me that this guy
he was a
is an
gospel
active,
musician before. Yes, he's a yes gospel musician before
but
he
at the
left
time,
the church
at
at
that
some
time,
point.
he had given up on gospel stuff and all that. I believe.
Yes, yes, he
Okay,
had.
right. Okay. Wow, that is really bad. So, what would you say is a lesson, in all of this to ladies, to the women out there? What would you say is the lesson in all of
Okay,
this?
Mr. T, there was actually a contrary opinion to the whole story because
Okay.
the sister, yes, the sister was interviewed, and the sister said there was no trace of, or there was no link as to the relationship between that guy and the lady. So only
Okay.
God knows the truth. That because when she left the house, she told them she was going to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend is well known to the family. They have never heard of this guy, and from what she said, they don't, keep secrets amongst them in the family. So if they're
Okay.
dating somebody, the family must know about it. So it's only God that knows. But generally, ladies should be mindful of where they go to, and
Okay.
also as much as, yes, as much as they want to keep relationship or meet people in
Mm.
different occasions, they should also they should also call the attention of somebody close to them, people close to them. You can just send location. I remember, I
Mm.
think some months back, one of my neighbor who became at some point close to me, he just sat down and sent me a location, and I was wondering like, what is this for? So he said he does that a lot. That if he's going to a place, you understand, you just send a location,
Mm.
anything can happen. So I'm sure I want to advise that let's have that at the back of our mind. Let's be conscious of that. Let's always allow people know, or let people know where we're going to,
We're
or
going
at
to.
location we're
Mm.
gonna be, yes, at every point in time. Let's be security conscious because anything can happen. You never can tell.
Hmm. Wow. So, at the end of the day, so it wasn't really established that there was a relationship between them.
There was, yes, from what we gathered. But of course it was mentioned that there was a relationship, probably, from the interrogation of the interviews, that they gathered, or from the fact they gathered. But that has been the guy's position. But the position of the family is there was no
Hmm.
relationship between the guy and the lady.
Okay.
So they probably even had met online, and maybe the lady decided not to, disclose that to her family.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, but she, as far as they're concerned, she has it. Anyway, well, I don't think for now this is not really trying to dig anything out of her. She's gone. The key thing is
Yeah.
that the only reason I was asking is that it was just out of curiosity. What exactly the kind of relationship that exists between those, between them, for the guy, because she obviously went to him in his place, so were they friends, were they business partners, or just casual acquaintance, so that has not really been fully
Yes, because
established, and the family basically are saying there is no relationship between those two, that
exactly.
so it's well possible that they are friends or business acquaintance, and although
But
which
he's
that
claiming that the girl was his girlfriend, and then from what he was saying, from his position, he was saying
but they should
that,
have been able to see that inside they will have access to our phones, our personal effects, the phone especially. We have a trail. If there was indeed,
of communication or
yes,
anything.
communication, which we established, if there was any sort of relationship with them, and that has not
And
been the
at
case
some
at all.
point, one guy came up to say he is the guy's neighbor that used to see the girl around. So, but we still can't be so certain about that information.
Okay,
You
all right.
understand?
So,
So,
well, the truth of the matter is that it's quite unfortunate. It shouldn't have been, but
yeah.
hey, that's it. So, okay, let's move swiftly on. I think the second part uh, of our focus this evening. So, what we're shining our lights on now is Hang on, let me just get rid of this. Right. So we have another story right now, which has to do with you know, anyway, in Nigeria, there is corruption. That is a given. We know that is actually happening. And one of the things that's when things like this happen, that something happens that is contrary to um, established, should I say, narrative or a belief about a people. Now, what I'm talking about is this interesting story has to do with a Jehovah Witness, a Keke driver who
Wow.
is said to have returned 4 million naira forgotten by a Cameroonian woman in Aba. Now,
Mm.
when I saw that, honestly, you need to see the subsequent picture when this guy found the money. Imagine the settings is ripe for this guy to take the money and do a runner. He did not attack the woman. The woman forgot the money. Do you understand? This guy, I mean, obviously, one of the things he actually said is that he is a Jehovah Witness, a Christian, okay, and that he there's no way he would have done something like that. And this actually goes to show the impact, the effect of Christianity. I don't want to use religion. You know, some people say religion. You know, religion to me personally is describing people who just believe a set of rules. Yeah, they say they believe in God, so who just follow set of rules. Who God is not in their hearts, but they practice it. You know that kind of somebody you see them go to church in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. We've seen a lot of people like the last story we just spoke about, the guy that actually said that was a gospel singer, you know. So imagine that that's the last person. If we're to go by that criteria, that means that once you see a person in church, that person is a saint. So, but we
Yeah.
know definitely that is a big lie. There's a lot of wolves, like the Bible says, you know, in sheep clothing. You know, people that go there, they have, you know, heinous, you know, intentions. So they come disguised. In fact, most of them have become maybe head of department of various departments of the church. You know, you will see them there, and people believe that this person, you know, night vigil, they are the one leading it. It does not follow. That we know,
True.
it does not follow at all. I mean,
True.
it's not just the reserve of people that go to church. Jesus actually had the same thing. He had his disciples, isn't it? You know, the ones that
Yeah.
denied him, you know, and for that guy to have denied him successfully, you know how it is now. The guy must have talked like an Agberu.
That's good.
They said, you cannot be a follower of Jesus. Sorry, we make mistake. You know, if he was talking normal, you know, like, oh, God bless you. You know, some people say, you know, when you see a Christian that they go there, you know, as Christian, we must be seen as being very gentle, you know, going there. Come on, that is fake now. Anyway, so what it is about this guy is that, you know, I believe that this guy is a real deal. And I will come to that shortly.
Mm.
So let me just write. Let me add this up here. Can you actually see it? Right. So it says there's a video. So I want to play the video quickly. And I want to say that we do not own the right to the video. We only just use for the purpose of displaying. Right. This is the honest Nigerian, the guy that makes it impossible. I won't be surprised that in the commentary somebody will say that this guy, maybe they should find that very rare. Somebody said he cannot. They should go and check the guy DNA that is not Igbo. I mean, come on, that's a terrible thing to say. That is the woman. The woman is really happy. Whoa, look at that. That imagine that. Wow, you can imagine that. Now, the reason why I'm really interested in this story is the fact that see the woman filled with emotion. This guy could have gotten away with it. He said he went to look for the woman. He went to look for the woman and he searched. He didn't just go to a place and say, I didn't see her. So maybe God wants me to have the money. The guy went and found the woman. When he found her, of course, she was found in a very distressed state. The woman wanted to commit suicide. She said she wants to die. And when you look at what the present economic situation or climate is right now, you can understand who comes across 4 million just like that. You understand what I'm saying? And when the woman just, the guy gave the woman the money in the story, you know, he said the about tricycle driver returns 4 million right to passenger to earn praise for honesty. On year photo, a tricycle driver and Jehovah Witness from Umumel, sorry, Obigwa, local government area, has been hailed as the hero for his remarkable act of honesty. On Thursday morning, June 26, 2025, Onyema returned 4 million naira left behind by a female passenger in his tricycle, locally known as Keke. In Lagos, we call it Keke Mawa. According to Onye, the passenger, a Cameroonian woman, boarded his Keke from Aba main park to uh, Area market. After she alighted, she forgot the bag containing a large sum of money. Realizing the situation, Onyema searched for her at the park but could not find her. Determined to reunite her with her money, he returned to Arera Market where he found the woman at a junction, distraught, in tears, contemplating suicide. Onya promptly returned the 4 million naira to her, calm her down, and advised her to spend the night in a hotel to recover before continuing her journey. The grateful passenger paid for the hotel as a gesture of appreciation. Despite being mocked by some Keke, the typical, I will say Keke Mara, the typical corrupt, some corrupt Nigerians, because not all Nigerians are corrupt. Abi J, you are not corrupt now, you.
I'm not so.
Eh, Who called him? They said they called him a mugu, which means fool,
Yeah.
for not keeping the money. Oyeme expressed pride in his action, emphasizing his faith and integrity as a Jehovah Witness. I love what I did. He said, I need a new keke, but not another woman's money. Onya, who was from humble background in Obingwa, attributed his action to his devotion to Jehovah, stating that I have made your name to be praised. His selfless act has sparked admiration across Aba, shining a light on the power of honesty and compassion. Now, this is where it gets story. Come and look at the comment section. Somebody said they said they should go and check his DNA. That the guy cannot be. They said it cannot be Igbo. You understand what I'm saying? I
Imagine.
mean, this actually happened in the southeast, and that is very, very wrong. That is a sweeping statement. It's the same way some people say Yoruba, say Yoruba
Yes.
people is this,
Why
or they will say
stereotyping?
Hausa, they will
Yes.
say Hausa, Fulani, that kind of thing. So, when I was actually thinking about this, I thought, if people are looking for politicians, for people who will guide that will say we want honesty. Look, this guy looks to me that the guy sounds educated. Do you understand? We know that that's not the criteria to be able to run things
Mm,
effectively. But what Nigeria needs is what? People who are honest. Imagine if they say this guy should go and be a councillor or local government chairman. With this kind of mind, if I was
wow.
from that area there, I will move the motion that they should use this guy. What do you
You're
think?
right. You're right, sir. And it's so sad to even also hear people saying he's a mogul. That's also
You
another
can say that
angle we need
again.
to look at. Yes, we need to look at. We surround ourselves with so much negativity, and we have this mindset and we believe it, and then it's eating deep down into
It
our minds and
is.
into our characters. You
It
understand?
is. It is.
Because Mr. C, to be honest, okay, I remembered an incident. Like, I remembered when I newly came to Lagos, and I was working in a laboratory. Now, before I joined that organization, do you know that these guys, the staff, they will run a test for the organization and end up splitting the money. They kept complaining that there had been no sales, and sometimes they will
Hmm.
just drop probably 500, 1,000 naira. And so when
For
I
real?
came,
Hmm.
yes, when I came because I became in charge. I was more or less like the admin person. So
Okay.
everything, all the funds, yes, will have to pass through me. I was both admin and cashier. So the
Okay.
funds will have to pass through me. And I was remitting it to the organization. So the man, Pajene of blessed memory, the man was shocked. The family were shocked to see that everything, started transforming. And in fact, the staff at some point they could not even hold it anymore. They called me by the side and say, "Babe, no be so we dey do for here o. We na
Imagine
small
that.
money we dey drop." I'm telling you, na
Imagine
small money
that.
we dey drop for the company. Then the remaining ones we dey split am.
And
I stood my ground.
quite a lot of people, a lot of these people, will either be going to mosque or will be going to church.
Exactly.
Which I
Because
always
we
tell
have
people
both
that look, going to
things.
church is not a criteria. It
It
doesn't
has
matter.
nothing to do with it. Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter. Judas too was, in fact, it was one of the. It was a disciple. It was a disciple. He was in charge of the money for
Yeah, true.
for the ministry going with Jesus. But the Bible says he was stealing. He was there. It's not that
Mm,
we're not assuming nothing. It was there
yeah,
that ultimately led to his downfall when he actually betrayed
true.
Jesus and actually, in exchange for money.
And there was
Imagine.
no even trace
Mm.
of it. He didn't even give them sign for Judas Iscariot. You understand? Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah,
And
but he's been
Jesus.
doing it. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the
Mm-hmm.
interesting aspect of this? Right. In
Mm,
recent times, a lot of people talk about things in church. They're like, "Oh, the pastors are stealing. The pastors are doing this. They're taking people's money. Instead of them to be feeding people, they should be feeding everybody. All that money they are getting. See, the man is flexing. The man is doing this. But one day, I now realized that, hang on, Judas said the same thing. Remember the story
mm,
of what was that lady again? Is it Mary? Who actually anointed Jesus just before he died? Do you understand? Before he was arrested and all that.
okay.
That they said he came to where she was actually, she was weeping, anointing Jesus' leg.
Mm.
And the Bible describes that the
Mary around Matthias or something
yeah,
like
but
that.
so she has a lot. Do you understand? It was not a cheap perfume. They said the
Mm,
aroma was everywhere. That expensive.
mm,
Probably the Faragemo of that time period. You understand? And guess who came in? Judas. It now make me realize that you
mm,
see all these people on social media going around saying all this kind of jargon, talking about these self-righteous pompous people going around talking about or, abusing men of God. They don't even fear.
mm,
Did you make them men of God? So you have not become God. Where now you are not saying that they should be helping people. The people will be hailing them, say yes, correct guy. This guy can say all sorts of things. That is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Judas said the same thing. When he came, what did Judas say? Judas said, couldn't this thing, instead of we wasting this thing, he said it could have been, just in case we think he meant a different thing. It was recorded. He said, why was this not sold? Remember the story? So that it could have
mm.
been used to feed the poor. Do you
Yes.
understand? Exactly the same thing. This this bunch of anyway, I don't want to go that far. So this bunch of nice people, this Judas version 2, they were saying exactly the same thing, saying that, oh, they could have been feeding the poor. Let me tell you something. One of the, there was a time, there was this finding where they did a research. I think it was somewhere, I think in America or in Europe, I'm not entirely sure. If you give money to everybody, say everybody in the world, $1 million, within
People will
one
still be
year,
hungry.
a lot of people, in fact, vast majority, will go back to the same states.
You're right, sir.
Poverty is not, it's not something about
It's even a state
social.
of mind.
It's a state of mind. There are people in this life who are resilient, who have decided, in which case in Nigeria, if you look at it right, a lot of people who are making it in Nigeria that they did not leave Nigeria, they have this resilience. Do you understand? Of course, maybe they too wanted to jackpot and all that, but you know, they didn't know that providence was on their side. They didn't need to go anywhere. Just like Isaac, he didn't need to go anywhere. God said, "Stay there." You are in Canaan where there's famine. Egypt now. At that time, Egypt was
Mm,
like Canada, UK, Europe, and all that. He said, "Stay there." And he said, Isaac stayed there. He obeyed God. He stayed there. And guess what? He said he reaped a hundredfold in a place where they say it's a desert, in a place where they said the exchange rate is like 3,000 to 1, where everything was really bad. You see, so it has nothing to do with that. This guy makes it so, you know, honestly, I was really touched.
And
Because we are here always talking about
yes,
somebody, they killed somebody in Nigeria, they stole somebody's money,
true.
EFCC is chasing
Negativity.
this one,
So
negativity.
yes, we are
This
shifting to
is
the
a guy, this guy
positivity.
is not rich, he's not a banker. Do you
You're
understand?
right, sir.
He is not
And
a
that's the
banker.
point.
Nobody was
This
there.
also highlights the fact that we still have trustworthy people in Nigeria.
Those are the
And
kind
I
of
love
people
this the
we
storyline
need.
because
You see, sorry about this.
go
If
ahead, sir.
if we say that we need, some people say, "Oh, it's the youth." Forget that one. There's nothing like youth.
Mm,
It has nothing to do whether you are old, young, or anything.
mm,
No, it has to do with your what, the state of mind, our national
mm,
psyche. Look at that. And predominantly, a lot of people have said they call the guy a fool. That is
mm.
majority of people that we have in Nigeria. Any little thing, yeah, man, you must be a fool. Say, but don't come and say that here. You think you are abroad?
True.
In Nigeria, you better
Mm.
chop your own.
Yes.
Do you
In my
understand?
own
That
case,
is.
they were calling they were telling me that I came to Count Bridge in Lagos.
Hmm?
I'm telling you, they said I came to Count Lagos Bridge.
They say you're going to count London bread. So they are the sharp people. I mean, they are the sharp heroes
Yes.
who came. And imagine, so where they are doing that now, then they will go to the corner of the house. I'm sure on Sunday they'll be the first whether Friday they'll be the first in the
Exactly.
mosque. They say, "Oh Lord, please, come and bless me." All our village people that is not allowing me to get on it. Like, you are stealing people's stuff,
Mm.
and you are asking. You understand what I'm saying? So, a lot of the problem that we have in Nigeria, where we say, "Oh, it's government," and they are right because we are
It
the
starts.
government.
It's yeah. It will start with us
That's what it is.
because
How do we
yes,
select? How do we select leadership? Do we go to Cameroon
exactly.
or Niger Republic or from Ghana or Burkina Faso to go and grab people to come and rule us? No, we
And
don't.
sadly, Mr. T, a lot of people that criticize the government, if given that
Hmm.
opportunity, they will do worse. Some of them will tell you when they go pack am. Do you understand? They go
One
steal
of the
am.
things that really
So why
cheesed
are
me
you not
off is
coming to
the
criticize
former
them?
governor of one of the northern states. I'm not going to mention his name. One of
Mm,
the that one I've never seen an hypocrite, well spoken. And each time I look at this guy's track, and I'm thinking, this is the guy that is slandering the president, saying all sorts of things and all that. Look, by the way, this is not an endorsement of what the government of
mm. Exactly.
of the presidency. I am not judging the
Mm,
presidency, but
mm.
you see, if you're going to make a judgment, at least make sure that you remove your own Iroko tree from your own eyes before you start removing the president spec. Going around saying all of those things. I know what this guy did when Jonathan, the former president, when they thought he would not
Was
leave government.
gone.
Part of the problem that we have today, this guy came out to say that they brought the people who have turned into menace, into a terror on Nigeria, and is walking around free. So we don't want to go into that, but let's just focus on. So that shows that
Honestly,
we have honest Nigerians. In
true.
fact, this kind of person, honestly, I'm going to do a finding. I would like to, even if it's
He
just
deserves a
5,000 naira,
national award. He deserves a national award, sir.
I am not going to wait
I'm
for
telling
national
you,
award because it's not
for
the guy.
national
I'm sorry to
honor.
say, I'm sorry to say, he will not fall into the criteria of the people they want to give award to. I hope they prove me wrong. But so, like this, one of the things that we believe 2025, we are the change we seek. What are we doing? Me, I'm going to look for that guy.
That's it.
That's one of the things we're going to
Mm,
do. We're going to look for that. We want to talk to the guy. We want to interview
mm,
this guy.
true.
And I want to give him, even if it's 5K, I want to give it to say, look, fine, we are not giving you millions.
To encourage
But
him,
to let
yes.
him know that, you see, I told somebody, I said, if you're honest in Nigeria and you're good at what you do, guess what? You will become a high valued person, no matter what you do, because you will
Maybe
say
we'll look for
yes.
him and
They will look,
interview him,
yes.
then and drop his account number for people
Somebody
on the
called me
platform to
once
even yes.
Somebody called me once about a few years ago in Lagos. The person was actually staying on the mainland. This person stays on the island and just says, "Oh, guess what, Tune? Do you know of any mechanic? I'm like, why are you asking me about mechanic when there are plenty of when I go on the island, I see mechanics everywhere. You guys can afford to. Do you understand? And he said no, that I want one that is recommended. I said, yeah, everybody wants to. He said no, that you see the one that you can recommend. I have tried the ones that ask for big money. We paid the big money. This guy damaged the thing even more.
Wow.
So we just need somebody that is honest. He said, can you
Mm,
just do you know of such person? Now I'm thinking about it. Look at that. That's what Nigeria needs. That guy,
mm.
that kind of person, if he has the interest, or if people can come and compel him and say, look, after all, those who are in government, it's not like they are better than him. But this
True.
guy has something that is proven. He has been
Yeah.
tested. If we
It's
can have this
tested
kind
and
of person, I
trusted.
don't care which state, whether it's Igbo, Yoruba, wherever, Hausa, or Fulani.
Is
Because
it
I've seen Fulani,
insignificant?
I've heard people say that Fulani people are the one that is. I said, look, don't say that. I've seen
We
Fulani
still
people
have
coming out
good,
who are actually
yes, we still have
saying
good
that these
Fulani.
Fulani people are they are creating right. That's a
Mm.
Fulani person saying that. And in Nigeria, for whatever weird reason, nobody wants to say anything. Why? Because we are afraid to say the truth. And that is what has been the enemies of Nigerians have used against Nigeria. You don't see anything. Look,
True.
so look, just be enjoying your life. That is not enjoyment. That is not. That is an indictment. That is being on the on the side of terror. People think because they are not actively engaging people and doing terrible things, so they are not involved. Yes, you are, because the fact that your inaction is the support to the system.
Yes, sir.
You
You're
know
right.
this guy now, very dark man. I don't know him,
Mm.
but there are some things he does I don't like.
You seems to be loving our very dark man lately.
But when I see some of the things he does, he gets it right.
I saw the
Honestly,
video Blessing CEO did.
you know.
It's shocking to see that even somebody like Blessing CEO will even applaud very dark man. But she had to confess that, oh, this guy is really doing great works.
But that's
In
the
fact,
truth.
she went as
We
far
don't need
as
the
saying
people
that,
today who they are shouting APC, APC, APC.
hmm,
Then tomorrow is PDP, PDP, PDP. The way and manner people even cross from one party to the other. You understand? Anyway, we've said a lot, but the central point of our
yeah,
team is that this guy, what he has done, this guy is a shining light. This is a guy that,
exactly.
I'm going to post the guy everywhere I can find him.
True, true.
I'm going to post him everywhere to tell people that, see, this is
I,
Niger guy to the core. We are not
true.
saying, I'm not going to say he's an Igbo guy. I'm not going to say he's a Yoruba guy,
Mm,
Hausa or Igbo or whatever. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that this is an example of in Nigeria. See, in Nigeria, we
yes,
have them. You cannot come
true.
and tarnish a people anyhow.
Yeah, because this goes further, bless you. This goes further to, mitigate the negative impression other countries have about
It's too
Nigeria.
much.
You
It
understand?
is too much.
Yes. It
And the
goes on
one,
to tell us that we see how good people in Nigeria.
do you know the sad thing about all of this? It is what
Mm,
some of even our own people say at times. Say,
mm,
Nigeria, don't mind Nigeria. And I'm thinking, come, are you not Nigerian? Why are you making
true.
it sound as if they're talking about aliens from planet Venus?
Exactly.
Are you not Nigerian? What the heck are you talking about?
And that's why
And then
sometimes it's funny when I see Nigerians who travel abroad. They'll be like Nigerians, Nigerians. And they tend not to even trust their fellow Nigerians. And I'm wondering, what impression are
but
you
are
creating
you surprised?
to
Are you surprised about that? You shouldn't be surprised about that. Now, in Nigeria, we have that. The only thing is that in Nigeria, we now change. We don't say because we are within Nigeria, so nobody says Nigerians. So what do we say in Nigeria? Say, hey, those Yoruba people, those Igbo people, those
uh,
Hausa people. That is what we use. We now come down when
mm,
when we are outside. All Nigerians really pull together. Say, we Niger people. Nobody says
yeah.
Igbo, or Yoruba or anything. Nobody says that. But once we're inside Nigeria, everybody, yeah, go and hang in your tribe. All these Igbo people, all
But
these
the
Yoruba.
Bible said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So
Mm,
sometimes we really need to erase or disabuse our mind towards
mm,
that line of thought. You understand?
mm,
So that
mm.
we begin to see good results, positivity like these stories. we're getting.
Honestly, so I'm really happy to talk about this. On further tomorrow we'll be talking about Davido. You know, hate him, love him, whatever. But that guy appreciates people. But that's for tomorrow.
Mm,
And it's this is what it is about. You know, this is what it is about. Where you have these things. I know other people that can, that have more money, but will never do anything for anybody.
exactly,
You
exactly.
understand? And
Mm,
although I don't really blame them, but I found out that when you want to do good, just do good. Don't look at people how they pay you back,
mm,
because if you look at how they pay you back, you will never do any good.
true.
And it's not only peculiar to Nigeria alone; it's everywhere in the world. I can assure you,
Mm,
everywhere in the world, you have people like that. But one thing is that the Nigerian one is always more painful. And that's because of some of the individual. There are people that you want to help. There are people you are making effort to, and they will still subvert you. So our nation, honestly, our national psyche, the people that think some people are who are doing good are mugu. Those are a majority in Nigeria. That is what's part of
mm,
what you saw there, where people and these people
mm,
now, and they will be planning to have their own business. I don't understand
yeah.
how they expect. There are people
And
who
the
have.
Bible said, the blessings of God make it rich and added
Mhm,
no sorrow. So if you're
mhm.
taking anything, the devil will still collect it back home. He may not even make good
They
use of
don't
it
want to know now.
at the
Don't
end
you see
of the
those who
day.
are doing Yahoo Plus? Do they care? If
Mm.
just tell them say 1 hour, 6 months, pere, and I will buy Rolls Royce, and I want more money than Davido and Dangote put together.
Ah.
I saw a guy. I don't know. I know it can't really be a skit because there were so many people on it. Guy was walking around, well dressed and everything. Very young guy, probably in his late 20s, early 30s. He was saying the words that he was saying was strange. Like, I've lived a good life. Yes, I've lived it all. I've done everything. Some of you cannot live the kind of life I lived. So I'm happy to go. I'm like, ah. So I started reading the comment and I
Hmm.
realized that the guy did Yahoo Plus Plus.
Hmm.
And it was time for him to exit. No
Imagine.
matter what, whether you are giving, even if you are giving 1,000 years,
Hmm.
1,000 years will come one day.
To what end?
Want to live forever. Do you understand? Want to live a good life. Is that not why we are seeing all this? Look at the story that we spoke earlier. That we talking about the Timileyin.
Yeah.
People are selling people's organs. How would they look at it? Okay, they will give you $10 million. When they give you 10 million, you buy Rolls Royce, Volks, whatever, buy private jets. If that is what they want to do, then they will take picture
Hmm.
with their family. I will say, look at me. And you'll be carrying your child and said, God bless this child.
Sure.
After you have harvested somebody's, you destroy
Hmm.
a life that
Hmm.
you can't get. Then you destroy the life
That you
that
can't
you are now
even
thinking
create.
you are going to be okay. As how? And I think this is so those who are in position of authority need to know this. Or maybe they know it, they don't care. I'm all right, Jack. Do you understand? It's like some of the
Yeah.
people suddenly they found out their uncle is now a senator. Then everything they've been saying about criticizing government, they changed because they too they are benefiting. Uncle is giving them a contract worth millions in dollars. All of a sudden, Nigeria is very sweet. Nothing the government can do. Our government is very because you see some people defending the indefensible. I've seen politicians going around wearing Tinubu's clothes and saying 2027. I'm like, the president has only just served 2 years now. Ah, so I'm me too. I'm not thinking,
And
wait,
that's because they are
Abi,
benefiting
Abi,
from the
me too. I'm a
government.
mugu. Abi, yeah, whether we should go and join them and see that it looks as if there's some free money somewhere. There's the thing is the truth of the matter is that for anybody that has a conscience, there is no way you will look around and see how our people are suffering. Honestly, we don't know the impact of what has been imposed on Nigerians in Nigeria. What has been imposed on people? Homes have been destroyed, families ripped apart
Mm,
because of the impact of the disease, the pandemic or
mm,
corruption.
true.
Anyway, well,
Sometimes I tend to wonder, like, For you to even eat a plate of meal now, is you must have nothing less than 1,000 naira.
Next
And when I
week,
look at the
next
almajiri,
week we're going to the market. We're
yes,
going
sir.
to do a live stream next week. We
Please.
want to talk to the market people. You
True,
know, I told
true.
you before that we have too
Mm,
many middle men. It's not real economy. When by the time from source, but before you actually get to the hands of the
mm,
consumers, they have
yes.
had layers of all sort of, it's ridiculous. Our economy is not obeying any known economic
Mm,
strategy or
mm,
policy that one can point to. When the price of oil dropped, did the price of goods and services did it drop? Nope.
mm.
Cost of
And it's
transportation.
the consumers that suffers it the most.
We are all consumers now. One way or the other, we must eat, we must all buy, must all do
Mm,
services and all that. We must. So until something is done, something has to give. We can't. We are always bending. I say adjusting, adjusting. But I think we're getting to a breaking point. We're getting to Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people.
mm,
We cannot continue on this trajectory. Something has to give.
mm.
And my prayer is that, it will not really get to that.
Amen.
Because at the end of the day, which countries can contain Nigeria? Which surrounding country? None. None. And those who are there think that God has given them the special right to be where they are and they can do things with impunity.
Mm.
So, Jane, anyway, well, thank you,
All
folks.
right.
And
Thank you so
so
much, sir.
tomorrow, by the grace of God, just want to say thank you. And we'll be here again tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing it much earlier now. So there's so much that we're looking to do. Okay. So from me, Olatunde, it's good night. And Jane.
Jane Rogers, have a wonderful night rest.
Okay. Rogers, Jane. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.